Good morning guys, it's Chris, your YouTube daddy here. Well, today's really interesting job is there's a hole in my roof of my van. So I'm going to have to fix it. So this is one of them winter jobs that I'm going to have to do. You can see I had one before where I patched it with fibreglass and another big hole has sprung up over the season and I'm starting to get water going into the van, which is not really good. So today's job is going to be repairing a hole in my roof. So you can see the hole in my roof there. I've taken away a lot of the metal that got away, and I've also put a like a sealant on it to stop the metal around it rusting anymore. So now the fiberglass has just arrived and I'm going to fiberglass it. So there's a hole there, there's a hole there, and if I take you outside, there's also a hole on the side of my van. There, as you can see it. Now, I had, where I'd scratched the van before, I put fiberglass on that already to stop it getting any worse. So I'm going to have to fix that hole, sand that down. I'm going to have to get on the roof as well, so I've got my ladders, and fix that hole. So the excitement, so it's a Saturday in Blackpool, and I'm going to be fixing a hole in the roof of my van. How exciting is that, eh? So, I'll see you in a second. We'll go into the house and we'll mix up the fiberglass and cut the fiberglass down to size. But first of all, we'll jump on the roof and we'll see how much work we're going to actually do on the roof as well. So, back in 1 second. So, I've set the ladders up and we're just going to go on the roof and have a look at what the roof looks like. Up the ladders. And oh my God, look at the size of that for a hole. Oh my God, that's massive. That's going to take loads of fiberglass, that is. So I just need to get all the excess rust off it. I think I'm going to have to go and get the scraper and scrape all the excess rust off that. But that is one hell of a big hole in my van roof. Look at the size of that. As you can see, I'd already had holes before, so I've repaired it. And there, but this has sprung a really big leak here. But what you want to expect, it's a 25-year-old van, so you've really got to expect stuff like this, haven't you? So, we'll go in the house now. I'll go and get my tools out. We'll get rid of all this excess rust off it. And then after we've got rid of all the excess rust, we'll then prepare it. My God, it's quite bad actually, isn't it? It's actually worse than I was expecting. I knew it was bad, but I didn't think it was that bad. I'll go and get a wire brush as well and wire brush all of the rust from around it. Stick a rust sealant on it to stop the rust getting any worse, and then we'll fiberglass it. So back in 1 second, guys. The excitement of my job, eh? So before we start any job, we've got to get all the tools for the job. So I've got my pink hammer, I've got my chisel, which is to scrape all the rust off. I've got my fiberglass. I've got my rubber gloves, because fiberglass is absolutely horrible to work with. And I've got my instructions, which obviously being a bloke, I won't bother reading it. Because who needs to read it when you can just make it up as you go along. So the first thing is I'm going to go and scrape all the rust off the surrounding area of it. Then after that, I'm going to treat it with a anti-rust chemical of some description. I don't know what it's called. It's Loctite anti-rust stuff. I've used it before, so it's quite good. Then once that's dried, I'm then going to start putting the fibreglass on it. So I'll put a couple of sheets, so I have to cut the fibreglass to size, and then I'll put a couple of sheets on the top and then a couple of sheets on the bottom, and then you build it up layer on top of layer on top of layer until it actually makes a rock hard thing. Then once I've done that, I leave it for a day or so to dry, and then I'll get some primer on it, primer it, and then spray it. So, the joys of the job. People don't see this behind the scenes stuff that you have to do when you work in Blackpool, and this is one of them jobs that I've been meaning to do. I should have done it before, to be fair. It's my fault. And now, because I've left it for so long, it's created quite a big hole in my roof. But you know, I can't expect anything different. It is a 25-year-old van, so let's go and have a look at it then. See you in 1 second. So I've scraped all the rust off from the inside of the van, and now we're just going to jump on the roof and scrape all the rust off from the top end of it and get all the big chunks of rusty metal off. So I've got a foundation. So I'll just see if I can set my iPad up here. You actually see what I'm doing. So I'll just rest this up here a little bit. There we go. And I'm just going to move the ladders. Oh God, look at the big chunks of metal coming off here. So it is actually quite bad, but it's been coming through for a long time. It looks like at some point some kind of sealant's been put on it. You can see it coming off around the edges. So I need to get all this off so the fibreglass has got a chance of bonding to it. Once I've done this, guys, I'll wire brush it, and the reason I wire brush it as well is to get the rest of the rust off it, and it's also to give the paint where the paintwork is, so the fibreglass will bond to it, because obviously I don't want the fibreglass coming off. So that seems to be a bit more. So you can either use a wire brush or sandpaper. Now I'm going to use a wire brush. I'm just going to go and find one. And then I'm going to wire brush it round and make sure the last of the rust is off it. Then I'm going to put as I said, a protection on it to stop it rusting anymore. Then I'll put the fiberglass on top of it. So see you in 1 second, guys. Right, I've sanded it down on both sides and I've put the protection fluid on it and it's now dried. You can see how big the hole is now. Once I've got rid of all the metal from around it, it's actually quite a big hole. So now it's time to start putting the fiberglass on. So we're just going to go into my house, cut the fiberglass to the right size strips, and then we'll start doing the job. Okay then, isn't this exciting, eh? See you in a second, guys. Now, first things first, guys, what I've got to do is I've got to cut the fiberglass. So this is the fiberglass, it comes in sheets, and I now need to cut it to size. Nothing technical about it, just get a pair of scissors. So, cut the fiberglass to, obviously you want to have it a couple of inches all the way round, about that size. But I am going to need quite a few pieces of it, because it goes layer on top of layer on top of layer is how you do it. So I'm going to cut quite a few pieces of it now. So that should be about the right size, because it's quite a big hole, so I need to go all the way around it. But I've done this before and I do know that you need to do quite a lot of layers of it. So let me just cut some more. Gets everywhere, this stuff does. And then just cut this last piece in half. Now this should be enough. I'm using quite a lot of fiberglass, but it is quite a big hole, to be fair. So I do need to get plenty of fiberglass on it. How technical is this, eh? Right, there's one more piece, and I think that should be enough fiberglass there. Right, I've got loads of fiberglass there, cut to size. Now what I need to do is I need to get my gloves on, because I'm now going to mix the solution. Now what you've got fiberglass resin, and then you've got a hardener. So this is your fiberglass resin, there, and this is your hardener, there. So, and somewhere, wherever I put it, is my, I seem to have lost my, here it is. And now here's my syringe. Now the syringe is so I can take the fiberglass resin out of the tub and then mix it up with the hardener. And you've got the different things there to tell you how much to put in, what ratio it is. And then my wooden spoon to mix it. Now the thing about this is, once you've mixed it, you've got to use it pretty quickly, because it goes off very fast. So you can't afford to mess about. So before you mix up your fiberglass resin, you've got to ensure that the whole surface is prepared and everything's absolutely ready and spot on for when you're going to go out there. So I'm actually going to go and take this mix outside with me to the van. I'm going to get the ladders in position, and then I'm going to mix it up there and then you apply it with the paintbrush. So, and I'll show you how I do it, okay? But so I've got to do a few layers at the top first, then a few layers at the bottom to hold it. So it's going to be sandwiching it. So you've got the metal there, the hole there, and it's going to be sandwiching it in between. So that's basically how it works. There's nothing complicated about it. It's just a very messy, horrible, smelly job. So if you do use fibreglass, when I've made different things for the arcade in fibreglass, I always use it outside because it's got a very, very toxic smell to it. Yeah, so if you are doing it inside, make sure you have a face mask on or something like that because it does have a very toxic smell. And no smoking next to it or naked flames because it is highly flammable as well. Okay then, see you in 1 second, guys. So I'm up on the roof now and I just need to move the ladders a little bit. So I've mixed the resin up. Well, the resin's mixed up now anyway, and I'm just going to apply the resin. So first of all, I need to apply it on the outside. Making sure there's plenty of resin on it and it's going wider than the bit of fibreglass I'm going to put on. So first bit of fibreglass now. Then what I need to do is cover the fibreglass in resin. Making sure it's going into all the gaps so there's no leaks in it. Then, as I say, you're actually going to then put more fibreglass on top of it to build it up. So the fibreglass resin has to go between the layers as well to make sure it builds up the strengths. Don't be stingy with the fibreglass resin. Make sure you put absolutely loads on. I'm going to put another one on top, and then once I've done another one, I'm then going to go to the bottom and then start putting it on the inside of it as well. So it sandwiches it.
Now open your mouth, Phil. It's free. Fucking early. Fucking hell, what you doing? Fucking hell. Fucking door. Not enough anyway.
So as you can see, I'm putting the fiberglass resin all the way around the edges to make sure there's no leaks in it afterwards. You can't put too much fiberglass resin on it. You need to make sure it's completely weather sealed. And you see I'm going round the contours of the roof as well. I apologise by that, a load of people were just walking past using profanity. But hey ho, I can't control what's going on the outside. They're obviously excited to be in Blackpool. Don't know why, because it's so wet and cold and horrible. So, I'll see you on the inside of the van, guys. Right, I'm inside the van now, and you can see the first lot of fiberglass has gone on the outside. But obviously that's only had a couple of layers on it, so I now need to start building up from the inside, which I'm about to do now. Now I'm not going to be able to hold my camera while fiberglassing, so I'll show you what it's like once I put the fiberglass up. But basically it's going to end up looking like that. And then I'll put primer on it, and then I'll put paint on it. So I'll show you what it's like once I put a few more layers on. See you in a second, guys. Right, guys, I put loads of layer of fiberglass on it now. As you can see, I put 5 layers on the bottom and 5 layers on the top. Loads of fiberglass around it. So all I've got to do is wait for that to dry now. So that's basically it. I've fiberglassed the hole in my roof. You can see it there. You can still see light flow through it, but fiberglass is transparent. And then what I'll do is once it's dried, I'll flat it down and I'll prime it and then paint it. But I don't actually need to prime it, it's just for cosmetic reasons. It's just to stop bloody water coming through into my van. So, now I've done that one, I'll get on and carry on with the rest of it. As I said, I've got a few bits here to do and stuff like that. So I hope you like this video, hope it's informative, hope you like to see what I get up to in the winter. And if you ever have a problem like this, how easy it is to repair it yourself rather than spending a fortune going to a garage and getting them to do it. So don't forget, guys, if you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you later, guys. It's Chris, the YouTube Daddy, signing off.